Oh, okay.
Got all my names. Great.
Did you get it all in one binder? How did you do that? I kind of take two binders. That's what it is. You took some stuff out. Yeah.
Welcome to the May 7th City of Oldsmar Council meeting. It is 7 p.m. I am going to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for joining us. Our first item on the agenda is our invocation and our pledge allegiance to the flag, which will be led by our city attorney. Please rise.
Heavenly Father, we meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, and to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize the responsibility to the past and the future, as well as the rights and needs of both the individual and our community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom.
I
It
just
makes
love those
my-
little voices, Mayor.
Yeah, it
You
makes
hear
my
the
heart
little
feel
voices
really
out
warm,
there?
those little voices out there. Thank you for all coming out. All right, the next item on our agenda is the Oldsmar Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 5-minute presentation on any subject. For any public hearing, I will call on you at that time if you would wish to speak. Please state your name and address for the record. The open forum will conclude at 7:30. Is there anybody on this side of the room who would like to speak to the council? Come on up.
Jerry Beaverland, 512 Pine Avenue South, and it's always good to see young people here in the council meeting. You need to come to council meetings more than just this. Come here and keep your council on their toes, because you are our future. And you're my future gang, okay? I wasn't planning on coming tonight, but after reading the agenda, I decided I was going to come anyway. I want to ask a question first. Can I talk at, no, that's okay. I'll get it over it right now. If you talk about money tonight on salary, does that pertain to this council or a next council? Somebody answer me.
We'll discuss that when we have that item on the agenda, because we are going to discuss that with the vice mayor.
Do I have a chance to talk then?
Sure, I'll let you talk, yes.
I got to sit through the meeting to talk then. Well, okay, I'll sit down and I'll wait. Your debates are terrible when you have council debates. They're not fair. Having the League of Cities here is okay, but your debates are not fair. If you're going to debate your opponent and not the whole council. And don't debate the question from the mediator. You need to debate your opponent. And that's as easy to do. If you have 4 opponents up there on 2 council seats, then you let those 2 opponents debate each other. Then you go to the next 2 opponents, and they can debate each other. You don't debate from here, there, or there on one question. It's not fair. It is not fair. When I debated, I was over here, and time I got to my term again, I couldn't even talk to my opponent. People forgot who I was. In actuality, they really did forget who I was. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. I will wait till that comes up, then I'll discuss it with you then.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
And thank all you young people for being here.
Anybody else on this side of the room want to come up?
Hi, my name is Erica Picard, and I'm running for the District 4 seat for Pinellas County Schools. I just want to introduce myself and say hi, and thank you for allowing me to be here and listen to this wonderful forum. And all you kiddos, this is so awesome to see you guys standing up for things that you guys want to see happen in your community. I very much applaud you for that, okay? Good job, guys.
Your address.
Oh, my address?
For the record.
Oh,
the record.
I'm sorry, 851 Village Way, Palm Harbor, 34683.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody else on this side of the room who'd like to speak to the council? Anybody on this side of the room would like to speak to the council? All right, with that, we're going to close the Oldsmar Open Forum. The next item on our agenda is the Community Minute, and that will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Thank you. The Oldsmar Citizens Academy class of 2024 will run Thursday, September 5th through Thursday, November 7th, except for Halloween, from 6 to 8:15 p.m. Application deadline is Friday, August 9th. And this is a great way for citizens to learn about how their government works here in Oldsmar. Classes use hands-on activities and lectures to teach how city government affects the quality of life here in Oldsmar. Storm and hurricane volunteers. The city is accepting volunteer applications for opportunities including be a social media ambassador, learn to plan, assist with sandbags, and or debris removal. And that information can be found on oldsmarstrong.com. And also we have Pledge to Evacuate. And to learn more, please go to oldsmarstrong.com.
Thank you very much for that. Next is approval of additional new agenda items, which are 5, 7, and 22. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is awards and recognition, and award the Drop Savers poster contest winners. And Councilmember Katie Gannon is going to help me read the names, and I'm going to hand out the awards.
Okay, we might have to do it the old-fashioned way. That's all right. That's all right. I can bring it down here. Bring it down here. That's okay. All right. So let's see. What do you have?
The mic just got turned off.
Oh, I got that. Okay, so you're starting. So show me your certificate first, so we can make sure we pull.
And we're going to
them
do
in order.
third place, water conservation poster contest, Forest Lakes Elementary.
Okay.
This is third place winner.
Our third place winner from Forest Lakes Elementary is Ian and Miss Farrow's class. And we're going to clap for everybody. Mom and Dad, if you want to come up and take a picture, please feel free. sure the mayor would be happy to stand and get a photo.
Come on up.
And just so that everybody knows, I am only going to read the first name of your child because we don't like to put the full name of minor children out on the internet. This is being broadcast on YouTube, so
All right. There you go, baby.
good job, Ian. And in second place in Division 3 from Forest Lakes, we have Zoe in Miss Farrow's class.
Quick picture. Smile, Zoe.
Oh, wait. In first place for Division 3, we have Olivia, also in Miss Farrow's class. I feel like Miss Farrow's class did pretty well this year in the Drop Savers contest. Great job, Olivia. Now in Division 2 in third place, we have Juliet in Miss Hunn's class. See if Juliet's here. We will clap for her no matter what. In second place, in Miss Bidizakis' class. Oh, so close. Miss Bidizakis' class. We have Emery. Emery's here.
Good job. Congratulations.
Smile. Come over here and smile for Mom, okay?
Hold this, hold this.
There we go. In first place for Division 2, we have Lily in Miss Garcia's class.
Congratulations, Lily. Good job. Hold on, one more, hold on. There you go. Congratulations, good job.
In Division 1 for Forest Lakes Elementary, we have Julian and Miss Skelton's class. Not sure if Julian's here. Nope. And then we also want to recognize in second place Alana in Miss Skelton's class. Come on up. Sit right there, buddy. Yeah. Oh,
One more smile. There you go.
Alana,
Got
good
it?
job.
Good job.
And in first place at Forest Lakes Elementary for Division 1, we have Bren, also in Miss Skelton's class. All right, let's switch on over to Oldsmar Elementary. And I spy in the back Principal Logan. Please feel free to come up and get a photo with... I did not happen to see Miss Huey here. I see a little bit of competition there. That's all right. We love the competition. Our elementary schools are fantastic. Well, Principal Logan, if you'd love to come up here and get some photos with your fabulous students, I think they would love that.
Yes, come on up.
All right. In Division 3, in third place, we have Olivia in Miss Munson's class. In second place, we have Brooklyn in Miss McFarland's class.
Get in the middle, get it right in the middle.
Just keep smiling. You look great. You look fantastic. And in first place in Division 3 for Oldsmar Elementary, we have Vivian from Miss Munson's class.
One more.
Got a lot of photos. You guys are famous. I love it. In Division 2, in second place, we have Naomi from Miss Wilkins' class. And please welcome from Division II first place, Michelle in Miss Delgado's class.
Congratulations, Michelle. Good job. Smile.
You got some fans out there, Michelle.
One more, Michelle. There you go, Michelle. This is yours. That's for you.
In Division I at Oldsmar Elementary, we have in second place AJ from Miss Wolf's class. Clap for him. And in first place, Division I at Oldsmar Elementary, we have Ronan from Miss Lopez's first grade class.
One more.
You know how famous you were.
Here you go. Thank you,
Great
thank you,
job.
Councilman McGannon, for helping me out. Congratulations to everyone.
Great job, everyone.
Here's the certificate right here.
Very nice.
Thank you again.
You're so welcome.
All right, item number 2, presentation of Business of the Quarter Award for the first quarter of 2024, and that will be taken care of by our Vice Mayor, Steve Graber. You have the floor.
I'm gonna release all the kids. Release all the kids and let this thing. Oh, yeah.
If anybody would like to leave, you can leave now, or if you want to stay, you can hang out with us and
Totally up
whatever
to
you
you.
want to do.
Good job. Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Is it hot here? Is it me?
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Okay, Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, where are the posters?
They didn't want to stick around for you, Chris. I'm sorry. Yes, you can stay.
We don't see the posters.
No, it's okay. Ready to go?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Good.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have the privilege of presenting the Business of the Quarter Award for the first quarter of 2024 to Chris Cantonis of Ally Restore and Construct Incorporated. By way of background, Chris is a Florida native and was born at Morton Plant Hospital. As a child, he attended Oldsmar Elementary School, go Owls, and had the honor of being taught in first grade by Councilmember Knapp's grandmother, Marjorie Knapp. Wonderful. Chris also participated in youth sports here in the city as part of the Oldsmar Soccer Association. As he got older, he attended Countryside High School, go Cougars, where he and his wife were high school sweethearts. Later, he attended the University of Florida. I'm not sure of who their mascot is. Go Seminoles. I'm sorry.
Go Gators.
What? I can't. Everything's
Gators.
like you're behind me. I can't hear you. Chris's family has had businesses in Oldsmar for years, including his father's business, where Chris said he learned about entrepreneurship, hard work, discipline, and helping the less fortunate. Chris grew up in the construction and property maintenance business and is a state-certified building and roofing contractor and mold remediator. Throughout the years, he has owned several restoration franchises before getting more involved in general construction and remodeling and less involved in insurance restoration work. In 2015, he used his years of experience in education to transfer away from the franchise business and establish Ally Restore and Construct, a Florida state licensed contractor specializing in providing emergency services, disaster cleanup, construction, roofing, remediation, and restoration of commercial and residential properties. His team is proficient in water, fire, and mold cleanup, and reconstruction, as well as roofing, remodeling, design, build, and construction. Might have borrowed that from your website, but it was well written. You're welcome. Chris is proud to have Ally based here in Oldsmar so the team can serve the local community and not branch out throughout the entire state. As Chris puts it, he wants to focus locally and sleep in his own bed at night. One of the reasons Ally is receiving this award tonight, and what I believe to be the most important reason, I think all of us do, is Chris and his team's dedication to be involved here in the community. Ally is an active member of the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, a large supporter of and donor to Oldsmar Cares, and the team, and their team each year, they hold their holiday party. And if you've never been to the party, you would agree, or if you've ever been to the party, you would agree that it is a fantastic event and one that several of us look forward to each year. At the party, Chris and his team collect toys to donate to Oldsmar Cares for its annual toy drive, and we need trucks to get them out of there because there's that many of them. It's a wonderful time. Chris stated to me that he believes that it is nice to be a part of our rapidly growing community. Chris, trust me when I say that you, your family, and your team at Ally are much more than a part of Oldsmar. On behalf of the mayor, the council, and the entire city of Oldsmar, I want to say thank you for all that you and your family and team have done for our community. I'm proud to present you with this award tonight and look forward to Ally's continued success. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, I like the thumbs up. That was good.
This came as a surprise to me. I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart. I grew up here. I played soccer here, as Steve mentioned. It's nice to be able to see my whole life transpire here, head out, branch out, and then come back here and serve our local community. When I got to know all the key people locally with Oldsmar Cares, we used to give to some of the bigger charities, Metropolitan Ministries, and it was brought to my attention that we could really make a big impact here locally, which was what we did. About 5 years ago, we started, I do an annual holiday party event, and we do that for friends, family, and business partners, and we cook a lot of nice food. And we thought, how nice would it be for somebody to bring an unwrapped gift or toy? And from there, we quickly found Oldsmar Cares, and we've really taken a liking to their whole concept and being able to give back to the community. So not only during the holiday event do we work closely with Oldsmar Cares, but they put in a couple extra requests throughout the year for us. So again, thank you guys. I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time. This is very rewarding and a direct reflection on the team that we have, that I'm fortunate to be the quarterback of. So thank you guys all very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, item 3, Felicia, would you like to handle that, please, for me?
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 3 is a presentation of the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for fiscal year that ended on September 30th, 2022. The Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting is a prestigious national award issued by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, GFOA, and represents the highest recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting. The city was recently awarded the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the September 30th, 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. It's a 32nd consecutive year. This award underscores the city's commitment to accuracy, accountability, and maintaining the highest standards. It is a result of teamwork, consistent hard work, and dedication by the Administrative Services Department Finance Division. Special recognition is in order for the city's accounting administrator, Amy Ratliff, for a lead role in preparing the document, which contributed significantly to the city's continued success in financial reporting. So I would like to invite the team up for a photo and the council all down for the photo. Does that? Okay.
Do it.
Bring her.
It's so pretty.
It's the heaviest award.
Finest of marbles.
Where's it granite? Squeeze them together now. Squeeze them. Squeeze
It's
them.
a countertop.
Yeah, first of all, I'm Cindy Netta, Administrative Services Director, and once again, we are very proud and honored to receive this prestigious award. It's purely a team effort, and it's a tremendous team effort that really begins in the beginning of the fiscal year and lasts all the way through until we finish preparing the document, which is in the spring. So I would love to stand up here and take all the credit, but it's really Amy's show. So let her say a few words. I just want to say thank you to the team. If there, as you look here, who is our finance administrator, and we have Sandy Winkler, who is our accounting senior accountant. Without our dedicated team, this would never happen. And thank you to Cindy, to the council, and our auditor just happens to be here tonight. And also, I'd love to thank John Hauser for your expertise and your patience and your guidance. So thank you all very much.
I think I ran out of film. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you're gonna have to squeeze, run it back up a little bit. Okay. All right, just a couple. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you for that, and congratulations. Our next item is our consent docket. This will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Item 4, approve minutes of the April 16th, 2024 council meeting. Item 5, approve appointment of Howard Steffensmeyer as a regular member of the Board of Adjustment. Item 6, award purchase of IT equipment, software, and services to VTech.io based on the same pricing terms and conditions as the State of Florida DMS contract number 4321000023 NASPO ACS. Item 7, approve amendment number 1 to an ERP system sales and license agreement.
All right, thank you. Anybody wish to pull any item? All right, need a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on any of these items? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is the presentation on proclamation for Professional Municipal Clerks Week. And again, Vice Mayor Steve Graber, you have the floor.
I know it doesn't. He's standing up here with me. Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, Steve Graber, on behalf of Dan Saraki, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2024 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our City Clerk, Kristen Garcia, Deputy City Clerk, Jenny Masinowski, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ready? Got it.
Congratulations.
Okay, good evening. I'm Kristen Garcia, City Clerk, and Jenny Maskanowski is our Deputy City Clerk. And thank you for the proclamation. So now I have a presentation tonight. Just make sure you can hear me. So this presentation is Oldsmar Engaged, Exploring Community Engagement Through the City Clerk's Office. And so I gave council and everyone here, we have it in the back, we have a sweet treat tonight. And it says, have I told you recently, community engagement is as sweet as a Reese's bar.
I get it. Recently.
So please grab one on your way out.
If not, I'll take the rest.
They will get eaten.
So the city clerk's office engages the public through various avenues, and one of those avenues is our Citizens Academy, as pictured there. That is from our last class of 2023. So avenues of engagement, there are several, including public notice, online platforms, city boards, public records, civic education. Okay. Public notices. So our agendas are published for council meetings and board meetings on our agenda portal, iCompass. Agendas are also posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall, in case you did not know that. And public notices are published in the Tampa Bay Times newspaper, and they're also posted on the city's website, and those are illegal advertisements. Agenda portal. So that is our iCompass agenda portal. Our agendas and minutes are published on the city's iCompass agenda portal. It can be accessed from the city's website and also directly at that link there. And also, when you get to the portal, if you would like to receive the agendas by email as soon as they are published, you can click e-updates and you can put in your email. Okay, our campaign finance portal, Easy Vote. So this is new to the city this year. So as a city clerk, I supervise city elections and coordinate candidate requests. Candidates file their campaign reports online through the city's Easy Vote portal. Easy Vote portal can be accessed by the public anytime on the city's website under the municipal elections page. And that can be found under the city clerk on the city's website. And so that is what, when you get to that page, that is what the button looks like to view the candidates' reports. Lien searches. So our office coordinates all lien search requests for the city. Title companies request lien searches for properties that are being purchased or sold. This process is now online for easier access for the requesters through our Just FOIA portal. City boards, so this council appoints to several city boards, including Board of Adjustment, Code Enforcement Board, Firefighters Pension Board of Trustees, Parks and Recreation Board, Advisory Board, Planning Board, Veterans Advisory Board. And if we go back, those are pictures from our annual volunteer dinner that we just held for our board members and volunteers just at the end of April. So board process. So our office manages the appointment process of city boards. And really, I mean, our deputy city clerk does that, Jenny. To apply to serve on a city board, contact our office or visit the website to apply. We also coordinate training for boards and schedule onboarding meetings for new members. And that is a clip of our board member handbook that was just created by our deputy city clerk and is now being provided to our board members as a reference.
Nice.
So thank you, Jenny. Our Veterans Wall applications. So the Veterans Memorial Wall is located at the Oldsmar Veterans Memorial Park and is engraved with Oldsmar veterans' names once a year. So the Veterans Advisory Board selects those names that are engraved on the wall. And this year's deadline for 2024 is Tuesday, September 10th. And to apply, please contact our office or you can go online. There's a Veterans Wall page under the City Clerk's page. Public records. So public records held by the city are available upon request for inspection or copying pursuant to Florida State Law, Chapter 119 and Article 1, Section 24 of the state constitution. And just recently this year, we added a frequently asked questions section on the public records page on the website for more information for the public. So our Just FOIA portal is our records request portal. This is also new to the city this year. It launched in December, and so now the public can conveniently request records online at our portal, and also, of course, by email, phone, in person, and mail. And when you go to the records request page under City Clerk, that is what our button looks like to get to our portal. And our Janice Miller Citizens Academy. So this is the annual Citizens Academy coordinated by the City Clerk's office. So this offers hands-on activities and lectures to teach how city government affects the quality of life here in Oldsmar. The 2024 class deadline is August 9th, 2024. Classes will be held weekly, Thursday, September 5th through November 7th from 6 to 8:15 p.m. So if anyone would like to apply, please do contact our office, or you can go online and there is a Citizens Academy page, of course, under the City Clerk. So please apply. We're very excited for this year's class. And that concludes our presentation. Again, I'm Kristen Garcia, and that's Jenny, our Deputy City Clerk, and that is our contact information if you have any questions.
Great job. Any questions for staff?
No questions.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on our agenda is City Attorney Tom Trask.
So Mayor, we've got a number of ordinances tonight that I'm going to read. The first one on item 9 on your agenda is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-07, amending the future land use element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. So I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2023-07, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the future land use element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to reorganize content of future land element, remove outdated agency names, remove reference to station area planning and rail goal objectives and policies, add new future land use category of planned redevelopment category, PRD, remove residential suburban land use category from the future land use element, future land use plan, remove target employment center overlay category from table 1, remove redundancy under ROOG, ROR, and industrial limited land use categories referencing maximum ISR standards, and update any reference to ISR as a ratio and not a percentage. Remove the mixed use language standards from categories that only permit commercial and industrial uses. incorporate comments from Forward Pinellas to include a specific list of permitted uses for each future land use category, and identify uses subject to acreage thresholds, amendment to residential/office general category to include acreage limitation of 5 acres for residential uses, include statement for density intensity calculation for all categories having both residential density and non-residential intensity standards, include a required maximum floor area ratio standard for any structures that are allowed to be constructed in the recreation, open space, or preservation categories, include a statement meeting the requirements of section 4.2.7.1 of the countywide rules and section 163.3178 paren 8A of the Florida statutes for any large future land use map amendments that increase densities or intensities within the coastal high hazard area. Amend policy 2.1.1 referencing CRD development in the CHHA to include a reference to section 4.2.7.1 of the countywide rules and section 163.3178 paren 8A of the Florida statutes. Amend policies 5.1.1 and 5.1.2 to reference chapter 2012-245 laws of Florida. Rename the countywide future land use map to the countywide plan map. Update the rules concerning the administration of the countywide future land use plan to the countywide rules. Amend table 1 to reflect residential rural category in its own row, and amend table 1 to add the planned redevelopment district category. Update mixed-use development section for consistency with Florida statutes and Pinellas County strategies to include provisions to encourage walkable mixed-use infill development and redevelopment. Add policies to implement the Forward Pinellas target employment and industrial land study in future amendments to the plan and land development code. Add a policy regarding updates for future parking requirements, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the reading of ordinance 2023-07 by title only. It was the second and final reading.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, so I will open up the public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak for or against this item? Please come on up. All right, with that, I'm going to close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-07 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 10 on the agenda is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-08, amending the transportation element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-08, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the transportation element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to remove specific language under mobility management system, policy 1.1.1 to reference provisions in the related Pinellas County ordinances, and adopted City of Oldsmar Land Development Ordinance Regulations, consolidate Objective 1.8 with Objective 1.2 and renumber policies accordingly, include policies on micromobility, golf cart users, accommodations, and multimodal provisions, update language on design standards regarding livable/complete streets, include direction to establish a complete streets, and encourage context-sensitive design street improvements that accommodate multiple transportation methods and all users, regardless of age or ability. Incorporate updated policy language from Advantage Pinellas regarding corridor planning, revise language on the right-of-way protection with specific strategies to ensure adequate right-of-way, add language developing an approach for implementation of Safe Streets Pinellas Action Plan, Vision Zero planning, and traffic calming programs in the city. Providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2023-08 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak for or against this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
Second?
Second, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-08 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 11 on the agenda is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-09, amending the infrastructure element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-09, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the infrastructure element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to modernize language and policies that are brought up to date with external applicable laws and regulations. Adjust the objectives language to indicate conditions that need to change, and policy language to indicate actionable steps for the city to take to achieve objective. Update the water resources section to better reflect the projects and goals associated with the reverse osmosis plant and substantial changes needed to capture this change. Update the drainage and stormwater elements to be consistent with goals and requirements of new state legislation, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2023-09 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. I am going to open up the public hearing. Anybody wish to speak for or against this item? All right, then I'll close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
Moved.
I have a motion and a second. Enter discussion. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber.
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes.
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp.
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon.
Yes.
Mayor Saraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-09 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 12 is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-10, amending the natural resources conservation element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-10, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the coastal management and conservation element to separate it into 2 elements, one of which is natural resources conservation element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan, and to address the identification and analysis of various natural resources within the city's boundaries, including water resources, wetlands, floodplains, minerals, soils, wildlife habitats, and more. Emphasize the need for principles, guidelines, and standards for conservation, covering aspects like air quality, water conservation, protection of minerals and soils, wildlife habitat conservation, and wetlands management. Remove outdated references to the 9J5 Florida Administrative Code, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2023-10 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak for or against this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second. Oh.
I have a motion and a second. Enter discussion. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber.
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes.
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp.
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon.
Yes.
Mayor Saraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-10 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 13 on your agenda is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-11, amending the coastal management element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-11, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the coastal management and conservation element to separate it into 2 elements, one of which is the coastal management element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan, and to provide principles, guidelines, standards, and strategies that will guide the City of Oldsmar in decision-making and program implementation as required by sections 163.3177, paragraph 6G, and 163.378 of the Florida statutes to plan for and, where appropriate, restrict development activities where such activities would damage or destroy coastal resources, to protect human life and private property and coastal resources against the effects of natural disasters, and to limit public expenditures in areas that are subject to destruction by natural disasters, to maintain, restore, and enhance the overall quality of the coastal zone environment, including but not limited to its amenities and aesthetic values, to preserve recreational and commercial working waterfront, to protect historical and archaeological resources in the coastal storm area, to discourage population concentrations in the coastal storm area, except as may be permitted by special zoning, subject to the requirements of Section 4.2.7.1 of the countywide rules and Section 163.3178, paragraph 8A Florida statutes, to protect coastal wetlands, water surface, and wildlife habitats through maintenance and enforcement of regulations, to limit public expenditures that subsidize development in coastal storm areas unless there is an overriding public interest to ensure public health, safety, and welfare, to address 5 key components pertaining to the implementation of the Peril of Flood Act, but excludes the CCCL lines component since it is not applicable to Oldsmar, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. There was the second final reading of ordinance 2023-11 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak for or against this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-11 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 14 on your agenda is the public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-12, amending the housing element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-12, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the housing element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to update Appendix A to include updated data and analysis report and remove outdated reference to 9J5 Florida Administrative Code. Update policy 2.1.1 and remove any language related to the density incentive near guided rail or bus rapid transit to reference a proposed planned redevelopment district land use category appropriate for future mixed-use development as part of an Advantage Pinellas Corridor Planning Guidelines, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2023-12 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak on this for or against this item? With that, I'll close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-12 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 15 on the agenda is the public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-13, amending the recreation and open space element of the Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-13, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the recreation and open space element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to remove outdated reference to 9J5 Florida Administrative Code, update policies regarding level of service, and updated current list of facilities, update current list of facilities in Table 1 for consistency with the current National Recreation and Park Association metric standards. Specify community engagement opportunities through the advisory board provisions, update language regarding accessibility, connectivity, and wayfinding, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the reading of ordinance 2023-13 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak for or against this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second? Second. A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-13 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 16 on your agenda is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-14, amending the intergovernmental coordination element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I'll read ordinance 2023-14 by title only. An ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the intergovernmental coordination element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to update reference to the partnering agencies and relevant documents, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the reading of ordinance 2023-14 by title only.
All right, thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak for or against this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion, how about a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Saraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-14 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 17 on the agenda, public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2023-15, amending the capital improvements element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan. I'll read that ordinance by title only as well. Ordinance 2023-15, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the goals, objectives, and policies of the capital improvements element of the City of Oldsmar Comprehensive Plan to remove the bond rating reference and updated policies with reference to the city's enterprise funds. Refine the language of policy 1.3.3 addressing concurrency management system regarding adequacy of water supplies to serve new development. Move policies 1.3.5 and 1.3.6 under objective 1.1 for better reflection for the objective, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2023-15 by title only.
All right, this is the last public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak on this for or against? Yeah, your tongue there, you're going crazy.
Take it from the top, Tom.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Saraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-15 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
that's great.
Did it?
Thank you, Tom.
We did it. All right, next item on our agenda is item 18, and our city manager, Felicia Donnelly, will handle that.
Item number 18 is presentation of the annual financial audit and annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2023. John Hauser, CPA, partner from the independent auditing firm Wells, Hauser and Schnatzel, PA, is here to present the highlights of the annual comprehensive financial report and results of the city's annual audit for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2023. The attached required communication with those charged with governance describes the audit process and any material findings. I would like to express my appreciation to the Administrative Services Finance Division for their diligent efforts and commitment throughout the year, which resulted in a successful audit. In particular, Amy Ratliff, Accounting Administrator, deserves special recognition for her leadership role in preparing the annual comprehensive financial report. Furthermore, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Hauser for conducting the city's audit in a highly professional manner, and thank you to Cindy Nono, Administrative Services Director. So, John?
Yeah, I've got the easy job. I just have to do the reporting. They have to do all the work. Also, we got two documents here, basically. The annual comprehensive financial report, pretty massive document that is put together in-house. A lot of work goes into that, and the whole team, including Amy, Cindy, Garrett, everybody here. You also have a two-page report, I believe, in the packet. This is what's called the required communication. Is this on?
It's on.
Okay. The city adopted one new accounting standard for 9/30/23. It's called Subscription-Based Information Technology Arrangements, or SABITAs. And these are, as it says, subscription-based, that'll last more than 1 year and have a value over $25,000. You're required, much like leases, to book an asset and a liability and amortize the things. At 9/30/23, there were no eligible such agreements. They're all shorter term or lesser value, and that's going to be an ongoing evaluation. There was about a 4-page spreadsheet that was put together by the city listing all those subscription-based items, so a lot to evaluate, but no effect on the financial statements for this year. We had no disagreements with management during the audit. All our inquiries were responded to timely and adequately. We had no audit adjustments. The city provided adjustments to record adjustments for government-wide financial statement items like pension liabilities, and leases. So no significant difficulties. It is a long process, though. We get started, I guess the engagement letter will come out maybe early June, which is just next month. Of course, the fiscal year will be here before that. And as I say, they're already working towards, getting that. This report will be submitted for the award that was awarded earlier to them, GFOA award. Okay, so within the CAFR or the ACFR, we have several reports. Page 1 and 3 is our independent auditor's report on the overall audit. It's an unmodified opinion and states that the financial position and results of operations are fairly presented in accordance with governmental accounting standards. Our last reports are in the very back on pages 129 through 132. 129 is internal control and compliance, and this is where we would report any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses, and there are none to report. So no items there. No instances of non-compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, or grant agreements. Page 130 is a report that's required by the rules of the Auditor General. Here's where to make any recommendations to improve management, and we once again have no reportable items and no recommendations. Lastly, on page 132, has to do with compliance with Florida statutes as it pertains to the investments of the city. There is an investment policy the city has adopted, and we saw no instances of swaying from that policy, so everything's fine there. Separately, we provide a report on the EMS funding. And each year you receive funding from Pinellas County, Advanced Life Support, to help fund the EMS costs. And we perform tests on the allocation of those costs for that funding. In the city, each year we've looked at it has spent more than what was provided. So there's no amount to due back to the county for the EMS this year. So I'd like to just focus on a few of the statements. The first being the statement of net position, which is on page 17. This is kind of like your balance sheet, if you will. Includes all the long-term assets and liabilities of the city. Overall, your total assets and deferred outflows are over 154 million. That's an increase of about 4.6 million or 3.16%. We saw increases in cash, accounts receivable, and capital assets, with capital assets and cash between those two an increase of around $10 million. Decreases were in investments because of either maturities or moving into more cash because they were paying higher interest rates. And due from other governments, really mainly those are grant-related items. So the total liabilities and deferred inflows were a little less than 25 million, leaving your equity of in excess of $129 million. That equity's in three components: invested net assets, capital assets, restricted for various purposes, and unrestricted. And the unrestricted gives you an idea of liquidity. The unrestricted in the general fund was about $3.9 million. And that equates to about a little over 2.5 months of expenditures. You have a policy, a fund balance policy, that says you'll have at least 15% in unassigned fund balance. This is in excess of that, so you exceed that and meet that requirement. It was around 26%, as opposed to 15 being the minimum. The business type activities net assets unassigned we're a little over 19 million, and that's about 19 months of expenditures. So should have good reserves in both the governmental and the business type activities. Page 18 and 19 is the statement of activities. This statement starts with the expenses of each department within the city, as far as the government activities and the business type activities. It then offsets those expenses with program revenues, which are charges for services, capital, and operating grants. That then results in a net cost or a net expense or net revenue. And you can see in the governmental activities, the column on page 19, expenses were 18 million, and the net expense was 14 million. So you can't cover your cost of operations from program revenues in government. So you cover it with general revenues, taxes, franchise fees, revenue sharing, investment income. That was 17 million, so you had an excess revenue, a little over $2.8 million for the year. The business type activities, they're supposed to be self-supporting, that the charges for the services cover the cost of operations. And your operations involve water and sewer, which is water reclamation, the reverse osmosis plant, the stormwater utility fund, and solid waste. And each of those activities were self-supporting. The revenues covered the cost of operations. In addition, you have investment income. So overall, in enterprise funds, there's a little over $4 million in excess revenues. So positive all the way around from operational standpoint and from a liquidity standpoint. I'd like to thank the staff for putting up with me. It was a long process this year. We're a little later in getting finished, but I think it turned out okay. And if anybody's got any questions, I'll try to answer them now.
Any questions? Great job. Thank you so much for all you do
Well,
for
thank
our
y'all.
city. We're
I
very
think Tom did a
grateful.
great job reading those 18 ordinances.
John? Thanks, John.
Thank you all much.
All right, item 19.
Item number 19 is adopt resolution 2024-17 revising the city's personnel policy and procedure manual. In February of 2022, the council approved revisions to the city's personnel policies and procedures manual. Since then, the city's continued to review and amend the document where appropriate, making additional updates where necessary for city council approval. The summary of changes in a red line version is attached. I'll read the resolution by title only. Resolution 2024-17. A resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, authorizing the city manager to revise the personnel policies and procedures, removing the eligibility list section, amending promotions, amending leave of absence, amending records and reports, amending conduct of employees, amending participation in employee organizations, and amending code of conduct for disciplinary measures and providing for an effective date. This is a reading of Resolution 2024-17 by title only. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item from anyone? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 20.
Item number 20 is approve agreement between the City of Oldsmar and Trask Danielle LLP for city attorney services. There's a memo attached in the item, and the increase in the budget, it doesn't need to have a June budget revision as indicated on the agenda. So staff recommends approval.
All right, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item?
Best city attorney there is.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you guys.
second that.
Appreciate you, Tom, for sure.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 21.
Item number 21 is to authorize the city attorney to draft a resolution and an ordinance regarding the use of the city logo. In May of 2023, the City Council approved Resolution 2023-08, adopting the city logo to be utilized for the city's branding effort and official business. It is requested that the City Council formally adopt a policy regulating the use of the city logo as attached. The new policy will be adopted by resolution being proposed to be drafted. In addition to the policy, it is requested that the City Council consider an amendment to the city's Code of Ordinance specifying the prohibition of use as follows. The manufacture, use, display, or other employment or any facsimile or reproduction of city logos or slogans, except for approved use by city officials, employees, or outside organizations consistent with adopted City Council policy, is a violation of the code, punishable as provided in Section 1-15. If approved, the city attorney will draft the resolution and the ordinance to amend the Cities of Oldsmar Code of Ordinances. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a discussion on the logos.
I love our logos, you know, seeing them again in the white and the blue and the alternative ones that, you know, we sometimes don't see as much. They're just beautiful. You know, I'm so proud of that. I'm glad we are working to protect it and put some teeth in it, you know?
All right.
It's beautiful
You
work.
ready for that, Tom?
Yep.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Great job. Next item is our city clerk, Kristen Garcia. Do you have anything?
I do not have any items.
All right. Next is item 22, appoint representative and alternate to the Suncoast League of Cities. Would you like to, you got a letter in the mail? Would you like to?
Yes. So I received an email. So item 22 is appoint representative and alternate to the Suncoast League of Cities. So I received an email from the Suncoast League of Cities, and they have requested confirmation on the city's voting delegate and alternate to the Suncoast League of Cities. So it is in their bylaws that each member municipality, and we are a member, shall designate one of its elected governing board members to serve as voting delegate and one to serve as alternate to the league for 1 year. And I do bring the schedule for the 2024 schedule for the SLC, and I can pass out copies if anyone needs.
All right, thank you. Does anybody wish to become the main member of the Suncoast League of Cities? Does anybody wish to be the representative? I've been on it since 2015. I think we'd like to open this up to discussion. Anybody who would like to do that?
These times are difficult with my work schedule, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that now.
Okay,
Even if I was appointed as the alternate, my concern would be, what if I couldn't attend because of a work conflict? Would there be a second alternate? Would we be able to rotate it amongst council members? But unless absolutely necessary, this amount of meetings with the other meetings that I have to be at with my work schedule and everything else that goes on, would be very difficult for me to attend.
Is it only the August meeting that's virtual? All the others are in person?
yeah,
Is there presumably stuff beyond August as well, or that's
it's
it?
Full
usually,
year?
it's usually every month.
Oh.
We didn't have they didn't have.
This
a
is
meeting
just their
last month.
2024 schedule.
Yeah,
And this appointment would just be for a year, it says, per their bylaws.
and that, I believe the August meeting, if I'm not mistaken, I could have swore that was at the conference. Oh, this was before, okay, it's the breakfast, okay.
Yeah. Well, does anybody intend to go to the conference this year?
I don't think we have any money, right? We all voted to,
There's registration fee
Yeah, we can
money
do that, yeah.
available, but
Yeah,
if anybody
I
wanted
was
to
planning
go
on going to the conference.
under their own travel budget.
Yeah, probably staying with somebody down there, but, yeah, I was gonna go to the
oh,
conference.
okay.
But that's just the conference. I would echo same comments
Yeah.
that the vice mayor had in terms of time of the meetings relative to work schedule. It
Could
makes it difficult
we-
to participate in these other general membership meetings.
Yeah, I'd love to do it, but I'm just being practical. That's too much.
I'm wondering if
of
we
an
could
ask.
just do a delegate for just the August,
The conference.
just the conference? Are you gonna be on those days, or you don't know yet?
I mean, I've done it every year.
Have you done it every year?
I've been in service to the city, so.
Oh, well, I mean,
But are we bound, Tom, by the bylaws of the Suncoast League of Cities? Because it says shall in there quite a bit.
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think I've ever read their bylaws. I would say no.
So if we're a member city and they're saying you shall tell us who's going to go,
Maybe what you want to do is just appoint someone, and then if whoever comes into the position that Sandy's in August, maybe as the newbie, whoever it is, shift it over at that point to that new person, if it's convenient.
Well, so, sorry to interrupt, but it's like, the SLC is asking for a representative to the SLC. They've included the annual conference on there, but that
FLC,
is
yeah.
something that we have done as an item shortly preceding annual conference to appoint the voting delegate for the
For the
statewide
FLC,
conference.
yes.
they're looking for
So-
SLC, Suncoast Local
Correct, so-
Monthly Meeting.
Well,
Yes, it's on this calendar, but that's not, there's
Yeah.
not an
Yeah.
SLC voting delegate
Right, so the
for the Florida
FLC,
conference.
the FLC annual conference, that's just a meeting, that's like an hour meeting at
During,
the conference.
during the annual,
And then that
statewide.
breakfast is all the regional league breakfast.
Right.
So for the general SLC meetings, they have on here May, June, and August, but presumably there will be September, October, November, et cetera.
It usually is once a month.
They must have just carried it through kind of their slate of the cycle when they start getting new officers picked.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an option for virtual attendance to any of the monthly meetings, like there is for the August meetings, then that would be different for my schedule, but it says virtual only on August.
Same.
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah,
need more
same for me.
clarification on?
They're live again. They're back, like I brought the
Okay.
flyer for the May 24th for the one in South Pasadena Fire Department.
but our
You
next,
intending to go?
I can't go, I'm out of town that day.
Okay.
I can't go that day.
could you just-
I usually go, I do go.
Could you give us a rundown of what a typical general membership meeting, what goes on at an
They
SLC?
discuss, what's going on in the Suncoast League of Cities and what they plan on doing at the Florida League of Cities. And then we have a lunch, and it's just a board meeting. And then currently what happened was, I was telling Felicia, the mayor, who was running for Clearwater, Catherine, she lost the election.
Kathleen.
Yeah, back when she lost the election. So now they have a shift because they have to, find somebody else to replace her. So they're moving everybody up. So now Tom Reed from Pasadena is moving up to president. So, she was supposed to be the incoming president
Right.
because she lost the election. So they're looking, I think what they're trying to, I've been doing it since 2015. I love the Suncoast League of Cities. Personally, I would love for someone on the council to join in and try to at least be involved. It's such a great organization with being involved with all the other municipalities around Pinellas County and Hillsborough County. And Pasco. They all come to the meetings and it's great. And I just would like someone else. And I understand that you all have jobs and it's difficult. Plus you have children.
Yep.
Yeah, and to be driving 1 month down to South Pasadena, then to Temple Terrace.
Right.
11th
yeah.
Crossing all over the
Well, it's like-
Suncoast SLC
At
area.
11:30 a.m., I'm like, really?
yeah, if you could teleport into the meeting, that'd be one thing, but we got to leave at what? We'd have to leave at 10, 10:30, 10, yeah?
Yeah.
Then it's an hour and a
All
half.
day. It's an all-day event by the time you're done.
Well,
For
should we
sure.
table this and find out more about our duties?
Well, that's what I was
the
about to say. We've
shall?
got another meeting on the 21st, so
Right.
the first one
Yeah.
of these wouldn't be until the 24th, so we've got another meeting to get more information.
So we want to know about possible additional virtual attendance.
Yeah, I'm curious about the virtual attendance. I'm curious about the shall appoint, what the
Right.
consequence is. I mean, I know that there are other members of the Suncoast League of Cities that have never come to things. I don't think St. Pete often shows even, does Clearwater show to everything?
Well,
Kathleen did.
She
Kathleen
would,
did.
no, you're right, St. Pete never shows
St. Pete
up.
never shows. I just want to find out, what
Yeah.
the actual consequence is to us, because I wouldn't want
Yeah.
us to be derelict in any of our duties.
And then
but
years ago, Tampa
is-
showed up, and they don't even show up.
Yeah, but it is, at its core, it is a legislative and lobbying body, and we do have a lobbyist for that purpose that is hired by the city. It's a great organization to belong to, but I wouldn't want to put anybody out. And it sounds like it's a bit of a commitment if they're all in person. So let's find out a little bit more and table it to the next meeting.
And you'll want to know when the term starts. If it's a one-year term,
When,
when does the current term end?
yeah, there's just,
Right, and maybe that's why the schedule was provided as it was.
as
but we don't know.
shortened. Yeah, maybe the August is when the term ends? I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, so a little more clarity.
Okay, so
If the city clerk could get that for us. and then-
Yes.
I make a motion to table item 22 to the next meeting in May.
All right, second?
Second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 23, Vice Mayor Steve Graber, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 23 is a discussion on policy requiring solid waste and recycling plans for special event applications. So as we know, at the April 16th, 2024 meeting, it was right after our big event at Ari Olds Park, and one of the questions I had was, what are we doing with all the cardboard? What are we doing with all of the cans? What are we doing with the plastic bottles? And I was told we were throwing them out. So my idea was to open it for discussion, but essentially see if we can work with staff. My ultimate plan would be to have what Felicia and I discussed, but a best practices guide, where we make it a part of the special event application. You have to have a plan in place, but here's the plan that we'd recommend. My hope initially isn't for anybody to have to climb through garbage cans because they're already contaminated because the patrons are putting things in the wrong place. It was more for the event coordinators, the folks who run it, whether it's the chamber or somebody else, saying, hey, we've got all this cardboard, we're going to stack it over here. We've got empty water bottles, we have a receptacle for that, and just try to lessen the burden that we're creating by throwing everything out and see if we can do that just in small increments, lead toward maybe bigger things in the future. But when there was nothing other than throwing it out, I didn't think that was right. But it's almost, I think the chamber had tried to do it in the past, and it was contamination because it was bins, and people were throwing stuff out.
They throw food in there and it
Yeah,
contaminates.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's difficult to.
And so
tried.
I was more, let's go back to the drawing board, work with city staff, just to say, we're encouraging it, it's not mandated, but at least when you're at this event, can you do this for us? And then we'll just take that little bit away, make those good habits, and then once those good habits are established, see if we can come up with other things, or see if the event court, they're like, actually, no, we got praised because we did everything correctly with these different items. What else is in that we might be able to implement? That sort of thing. Like I said, not to create a burden on anyone, but more of just, hey guys, let's not throw this stuff out anymore. Let's at least, if you're collecting it, or when we have the truck, when we have to restock at the tent, that's where it happened. I said, where does this go? And everybody in there who works those events has worked them for years and would know, okay, well, we're not throwing those out anymore. They came up with a plan, let's go put them over here. So that's all it was. But like I said, ultimately, I don't know if we asked city staff, if there's even a recommended motion, but if there was a way to see if we could come up with a best practices guide, or at least a framework, maybe we'd come back to it this summer. Give staff plenty of time with just that idea in mind, and then brainstorm our own ideas when we're having those conversations. But I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was an issue that we could address, we could establish a policy to address it that wouldn't create a burden on anyone. It would just be, hey, do this, it's gonna help.
I think if we can encourage Coastal or whoever our recycling is to be participative in that process, I think that's key. That's always been the obstacle is we've tried to do it, we've asked for receptacles, we've asked for this, can't do it, can't bring it. And that is where it frustrates us too, because as the chambers constantly try to get them to engage on it, and they just don't have the ability to help us. So if we could incorporate something they're willing to help do with the large events that are done there, I think that would be, very well received.
Any other
Great
comments?
idea.
Would there be any way we could try to encourage, as part of this best practice plan, some organization that has not necessarily an incentive, but the desire to help facilitate that, whether it be Keep Pinellas Beautiful or some other organization out there that can essentially collaborate with the chamber or other event organizers to kind of do the dirty work, essentially, of doing the sorting or ensuring that there's no contamination. I think that might be an idea, right? It's maybe not feasible, I don't know, but there's people that are certainly passionate about wanting to keep things filtered and recycle. As far as best practices go, there are some things that are far better recycled than others. I just came back from, it's kind of interesting, we had this item on tonight. I was just at a extremely large plastics trade show in Orlando the last 2 days. The plastics industry is not going anywhere. There's all kinds of information out there about how little plastic actually gets recycled. I mean, the big oil companies are behind the continued production of that. So there are things we can do to try to recycle versus reduce our consumption. So I think both of those things should be considered when it comes to trying to encourage our vendors out there and our event organizers to do things a little differently. And granted, we're a city of 15,000 and we bring visitors in on events on the order of a few thousand here and there. But any little bit we can do to contribute and change the narrative about how we consume items would go a long way. You know, again, it's kind of baby step establishing best practices, but yeah, if we can get to just paper stuff and aluminum and glass, that would be great, because plastics is it's a whole nother world and animal out there, and it's grown and it will continue to grow, but the recycling aspect of it is definitely questionable.
Gotcha.
So.
Any comments, Councilmember Gannon?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there is a section on trash and recycling in the policies and procedures, but I think it could use a little more detail, a little more encouragement or highlighting as opposed to just a sentence. I think the best practices is definitely the way to go about it. And one thing I thought of is, you know, trying it maybe not on a massive scale, like for Oldsmar Days, we will now have a trash receptacle and a recycling receptacle at every, you know, match for every trash receptacle. And I thought maybe to reduce contamination, we put them at strategic locations. Like when we're serving, people consistently bring us empties. And we could monitor that just a little bit more closely, you know, maybe having a few of them as opposed to, you know, just to see how it goes as opposed to, you know, putting one at every trash can, because that just increases the potential contamination rate. But, you know, I mean, my recollection is that every other person is bringing us back an empty or coming to us and saying, where can I recycle this? And we tell them we don't. But if we kind of could, if they were located where the volunteers are, you know, checking people in, or somewhere where it was a little more monitored as opposed to just in the middle of a field next to a trash can where you're going to get people just throwing whatever in each one. But I think it's a great idea. I think partnering with staff and finding out, you know, what some of those best practices are, maybe seeing what other cities do to make it work, if they have language in their special events permits to encourage it. I think it's great.
I just have a couple comments. I want to back up what Councilmember Grimes said. So in 2011, I started my block party, and the city of Oldsmar would allow us to pick up garbage cans and recycle bins. Well, the people just would throw the garbage in the recycle bins, they'd throw the garbage, it didn't matter. So it turned out to be more work for the volunteers to clean out the recycle bins and get them in the garbage cans and then take everything back to the city. So we have now, we don't get the garbage cans or the recycle bins anymore. We have just totally just used garbage bags and boxes because they don't care. And then when we go back to the Centennial with the chamber and I were totally for recycling during the Centennial. And we did everything in our power to get people to recycle at the Centennial, all those events we had throughout the whole year. And it didn't work. It was just people were just throwing their garbage in the recycle bins. But I think, Vice Mayor, I think you're on the right track. I think we should try to encourage this. I don't want to give up. I almost did give up, but when you brought it up at the last meeting, I thought this is a great idea. If we can all get together on this and work together with city staff to get this done, I think it would be a great thing for our city, and we could be a staple point for other municipalities to show them we're recycling.
Yeah, and to that point, like I said, I think it's more if we start with the event organizers. Wouldn't be relying on the patrons. Because how would you educate? We go to celebrate Oldsmar Days and Nights.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be like, man, I just did something wrong, and somebody's like all up, you know, telling me, like, well, how dare you put that in the wrong? Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. Start with the event organizers and see if that has some sort of impact on everyone else. But it's creating those habits where it's just like, oh, just throw the cardboard out. It's like, no, they actually, you can bring that over to the chamber tent. They'll take it for you. You can bring that over to this tent. They'll take it for you. Like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
That's where I think it's real important to get Coastal or whomever that recycler.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because I know that the teams would gladly do it.
If
But
they'll
it's-
come and take
you-
it.
After a weekend, you know how crazy
Oh,
one
for
day
sure.
is.
Yeah. If
You
they'll come
have
and
these
take it.
mountains, and then
Yeah.
who's gonna transport it where it,
Yeah.
and again, is it going where it needs to go? That's,
Yeah, I
you know,
had
think
Republic
it's
Services get
phenomenal.
involved with
I love
my,
it, you know,
I'm sorry, I had Republic Service get involved with my block parties at East Lake Oaks, and then it was just a nightmare. So now we just have boxes, and we put plastic bags in.
No, for
That's all
sure.
we can do.
Right. Well, then maybe we can review the best practices guide for next year's block.
Yeah, I think, yeah, there you go. I like it. So, we want to move forward?
Do we need a motion?
No, I don't think
need
we
a
do.
motion?
No, just
No.
something to look forward to this, hopefully this
We'll
summer.
work
if it's
with, I
end
think
of the
we'll all work with Felicia, and Steve, you want to be the lead on that with her, and we'll work with you. All right. Thank you. Great conversation. Item 24, Vice Mayor Steve Graber.
I have been very busy tonight, so,
Spotlight you.
yeah, don't look forward to too many council comments. Thank you, Mayor. Item 24 is a discussion on proposal to increase compensation for future council members and mayor, Love you too, Mayor B. So during the last meeting, what I proposed, as all of you will remember, but of course we need to bring it up for discussion, was currently council members make $8,400 a year. I believe that last time that ordinance was changed, got it in front of me, forgive
18
me.
years ago.
18?
Yeah.
So 18 years ago,
And Jerry signed it.
signed by Mayor Beaverland. So $8,400, and the mayor makes $10,800. So what I had proposed is for seats 2 and 4 and mayor, an increase would come into play in March of 2025, which would increase council member salary from $8,400 to $10,000. For seats 1, and forgive me once again, Councilmember Knapp, and 3, our salaries would remain at $8,400 until March of 2027, when he and I can no longer run for reelection. So in order to actualize any increase, you'd have to run for election to the seat. Councilmember Grimes won't be doing that for seat 2. And the seat 4 will also be open. So there's only one incumbent right now, and that would be the seat of mayor. But in order to actualize that mayor, you'd have to win the election. If you had an opponent and they won, they would receive the increase in pay. But as I mentioned, it's a small increase in my mind, relatively small. It wouldn't have an impact on the winner of the special election in August. They would make the $8,400 as every other council member currently does. It would not be seen until March of 2025, and only for the 3 seats, 2, 4, and mayor. The next budgetary increase for an increase in council member salary would be for 1 and for 3, which wouldn't be until March of 2027. And as I mentioned, Councilmember Knapp and I, during the remainder of our terms, would not see that increase in pay, despite there would be other people, per my recommendation, who would see an increase in pay. That's what I thought was fair, so I'm opening it for discussion. I didn't know
Open the
if,
discussion. Anyone want to comment anything, please?
I got just a comment and a question, or maybe a hypothetical. I guess we'll go with the hypothetical first. In the event, I guess this would be applicable to the seats 1 and 3 portion of your proposal, Vice Mayor. Would, and maybe Tom can answer this, would there also be able to be a provision if in the event either myself or the Vice Mayor did not satisfy our term to completion, that then if somebody else were to come in either as an appointee or that there was a special election, could there be provision in there for that as well? Not that I'm expecting either of us to be gone
Oh, no,
prior to
me neither.
2027,
It's
but.
funny you should mention that, because my thought was, if you're appointed or you're running in a special election for seats 1 and 3, you will be told that those will not be increased until March of
And that's fine.
2027, because you're finishing out the terms of the council members as seated. That was my idea.
Sure. And the other comment, this is maybe just a details thing of, traditionally, we've had a whole dollar amount as the per month amount, at least in the current salaries. 12,000 divided by 12 works out real nicely in round whole numbers, so I don't know if that matters versus it being 33 cents, when you divide 10,000 divided by 12.
Something you would consider.
It
No,
would-
I
it
did not
would be.
consider that in my analysis.
Just throwing that out there, if we want to round it up to the
Engineer
next
in
whole
here.
dollar or down.
The things you think about at plastics conventions.
Yes, yes, the numbers are crunching with the plastic pellets. That's all I have right now, Mayor.
Okay, anybody else have any comments? No? All right. Councilmember Gannon? Oh, yes.
This is difficult for me. We've talked about this in the past a couple of times. I know I've been a part of at least 1 or 2 discussions on it. Especially in light of increasing costs to the city in providing services, and considering, we've got, okay, so that would be for mayor, that would be an additional $1,200 per year. And the additional money to a council member,
1,600.
what, math man?
1,600.
$1,600 per year. I was gonna say, I was like, what, math, do the math. Math is not my forte. I'm a writer. And we had, different organizations coming and asking the council for charitable contributions of less than those amounts. So I'm kind of on the fence about this. I do appreciate Vice Mayor's planning of the amounts and when it would take effect or not take effect, based on, the current council makeup, and that it would be for future members. I appreciate that very much. But this is always a difficult subject, especially, I reviewed the attachment. Thank you. I'm assuming Kristen at the clerk's office for the attachment, which sets forth the compensation of the council in our neighboring cities, which varies from $0 all the way up to $24,974, which is quite a spread. But a lot of them hover at or below where we are. Cities our size are, similar. Seminole is $8,200 and $11,000. Safety Harbor's $4,800 and $6,000, but then they have a monthly allowance. So, but I'm not sure, what they can use it for. So that, kind of bumps it up $300 a month each for each month. So that kind of bumps that up. And then, let's see, what was the other one? Madeira Beach, which is significantly smaller than us, has a very similar setup, $7,500 and $10,000. So, when I looked at some of the cities with larger populations, though, like Tarpon Springs has almost double our population, and they're at 8,000 and 13,000. Dunedin is 36,000 in population, which is more than double ours, and they're at 11,500 and 15,000. So, you know, we're kind of in there. I recognize that it is a small increase that you're talking about, but I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know that it's necessarily an amount that would entice someone to run or not run. And I do recall that the Charter Review Committee recommended, the Ordinance Review Committee, 2 years ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Recommended,
Four.
was it 4? Oh my God.
Yeah, because I was on it before.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
Wasn't that recommendation to go to 16,000 or?
If I remember correctly, I think it was 14 and 18.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like 14 and 18.
It was bigger
So-
than, it was a lot
So
higher.
I recognize that, it's just, it's a tough thing when I see, you know, our department heads tightening their belts and, you know, the charitable organization requests. You know, we've thrown in our travel budgets already, you know, to certain folks, so it's really hard, going through this and going through the numbers in comparison, so I'm kind of on the fence.
All right, thank you. Jerry, you want to come up and speak? Come on up. Thank you for hanging in there, buddy.
Jerry Beaverland, 512 Pine Avenue South. When I was first elected, we got a silver dollar a year. That's all. And the city owes me 3 silver dollars. And I
Okay.
prefer the Morgan dollar, not the Peace dollar, and definitely not the Eisenhower dollar. So the city owes me 3 silver dollars, okay? I voted in 1990 that they decided to pay the council and the mayor. Well, myself and Dottie Lee voted against paying the council anything. The council should be paid, and I understand that. Now, if you want it the easy way, where you don't have to make a decision, you can come up with a figure and put it on a referendum. You work for the city of Oldsmar. You work for the citizens of Oldsmar. Let them give you a raise if that bothers your mentality. I'm going to speak at the next item also. So if you, and I don't care what other cities do. We're not other cities. We're the city of Oldsmar. I don't care what they pay. I don't care how big they are or how small they are. The only time we consider other cities is employees' pay schedule. Now, we should consider that because we don't want them going to somebody else. If you do vote to raise the salaries for the next generation it's not wrong if you vote for it. And it's not wrong if you vote against it. So that's entirely up to you. But if it bothers you a lot, put it for a referendum. That the the people you work for give you a raise or tell you not. You can't raise. When I was first elected, it was state law that you read an ordinance in its entirety one time. In its entirety. We sat there at 2 o'clock in the morning at one meeting, reading one ordinance, and that was the ordinance to put the city together. 3 o'clock in the morning.
You used to read it 3 times. You would have 3 public hearings on the same ordinance.
Right, but we had to read it in its entirety one time. Y'all are lucky. I'll be back up at the next thing.
Be here till
All
3
right.
a.m. on Thursday, reading all those.
There you go. So I just have a couple comments. I'm going to be honest with everyone. It doesn't bother me each way. I think, Steve, you bringing it up actually is is a good idea. I think that we are all very hard workers for the city of Oldsmar, and I feel that a compensation increase, I would support it if the rest of the council would want it. I think your plan for the future generations, I think it's acceptable. And that's where I'll leave it. So I'll leave it open for discussion of what you want to do.
And just to what Councilmember Gannon's concerns, I think what happens in other cities, from conversations that I've had about this in the past, we've all had them, is it can come off as a taboo subject because it's considered that we're paying ourselves more. That's why I tried to tailor it.
Yeah.
And thank you all for pointing out what I've been trying to do here.
Absolutely.
It's, we don't get any more money. If somebody wins an election, maybe they do. But I can't win an election, and Andrew can't win an election. Sandy's not gonna run an election, and Katie's termed out in March. So that's the only time that's gonna be the four, you know? So what I would do is, we'd have to do it by ordinance, correct, Tom?
Yeah.
So would we do a motion,
It'd be a motion to direct the city attorney to prepare an ordinance increasing the salaries is based upon the memo that's provided in the agenda packet.
okay, do I have to repeat that, or can I just say the motion Tom recommends is the motion I'm making right now? So there's a motion on the floor, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor, appreciate that very much. Do I have a second?
Second it.
All right. Any other discussion on this item?
Just to say that it's a motion for the city attorney to draft an ordinance, and with that would come public hearings, correct?
public.
There'd be 2 public hearings, so there'd be additional opportunities for the public to come and speak, which might be a referendum on the entire idea. But to take this next step, I think is worthwhile, because we'll have the discussion at the next meeting, and then if that passes, there'd be 2 public hearings, so 2 further opportunities for the public to speak on the idea. So we're nowhere near close to it. That's not what we're voting on right now. It's just to have it drafted and put in front of us at the next meeting.
All right. Sure. Any other discussion besides that? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
I have 1 nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 25 is discussing on increasing our council terms from 3 to 4 years. I have the floor. We've discussed this in the past. My sense for this is I would like us to move our elections to November. I'm kind of agreeing with Councilmember Knapp in his bid to increase people to vote. I think when we have our elections in March, I think we're missing some of the electoral votes, people that want to come out and vote, and moving it not only to 4 years, if we can align it. We might not be able to do this right away. Felicia and I were talking about this today at my meeting. We're trying to align it so that we could be in alignment with the elections in November when they
Point
happen.
of order, Mayor, just so I know. That's not the agenda item in front of us. That would be a separate agenda item would be
Yeah, I
needed,
thought we were
correct?
only considering the term 3 to 4 years.
Yes,
4
I
years
know.
different than
But I also
changing
want
the election
to
day.
discuss, I really would like to discuss also moving it to November, even though,
Is that allowable?
Tom, do we need to put that as a separate agenda item?
I would suggest that it come back because there was no.
Okay.
You had no
Public notice.
All
preparation
right.
for it. You didn't know that it was going to be discussed. So if there's going to be any direction for me to do anything, I would definitely suggest that.
then I would like to table this to discuss the next meeting so that we can add it, I want to move it to 4 years and to November.
Well, it's 2 different issues, Mayor. So you can move forward on discussing the term limit and then
Okay.
in the next meeting, discuss changing from March to November.
All right,
Respectfully, Mayor, is it your next meeting, May 21st, is when you're in DC for,
yes,
so you'd want to go to the first meeting in June?
yes.
So you're here to
We
discuss.
could add it
Here
to
to
the meeting
discuss.
after that.
That's why it's first meeting in June.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
you're
you. I
fine,
was
you're
just
fine.
confused.
So anyways, okay, let's go back, we'll discuss the 4-year term. A lot of, I know on our chart that we have, it says that a lot of municipalities are still 3, but a lot of the municipalities around the state are moving to 4 years. I feel that it would help us because I feel that when a new elected official comes in, the 3-year term is not enough for the educational process of moving forward, only 3 years. I just don't feel 3 years is enough. I would like to discuss moving it to 4 years. Come on up.
You know who I am. You move it to 4 years, you are asking for a devastation of city government. And I'll tell you why. You haven't served, you're lucky that you have these people here. I don't agree with all of them, but at least they're intelligent. You haven't served with anybody that's an idiot. I have. And Tom knows some of them.
Face right out, okay.
I have an idiot that
Buried in the
all he cared about was bike lanes. He didn't run for the second term because of me. Because I gave him such a damn rough time in his first term because he was an idiot. Then I had a person that was extremely intelligent, but he was so negative, he even voted against Veterans Park. He didn't run for his second term because I gave him such a damn problem on his first term. You want to deal with that for 4 years? That's a foundation for screwballs. Please don't go to 4 years. I understand your reasoning, but to put it with the nationals election, that has nothing to do with the city of Oldsmar, with their council people. And don't think you can't deal with an idiot, because they're out there. I have an agenda, and that's all I care about, is my agenda. To hell with the city of Oldsmar. That's what you have to deal with. I had one council member voted against something. Okay, I won't say what it was. He voted against it. When I got on council in 1990, I put it back on the agenda. And after I got through with my tirade, when he was on council, when he was there, it went 5-0 defeat. When I got on council, it went 4-1 to pass it. And because of that, the city's very rich now with land. But you know what he did? He voted against it again. And I said, what did you do that for? He said, well, I voted against it the first time. I thought it looked stupid, so I voted against it. No, you'd have been smart. So thank you for listening to my tirades, and thank you, council, who you are. And
Hanging in there with us. And
Thank you, Jerry.
thank you for your strong vote of no.
Absolutely don't do that. If you can't learn it in 3 years, you'll never get it.
All right, Council, Vice Mayor, you have any comments? Good night.
Jerry.
I do. Who on council served on an advisory board prior to getting up on council? Very simple question. I don't see your hand up, Mayor. I know you're on the list.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What I have always done, and to be honest, when I first started, I showed up for the Board of Adjustment to become an alternate member, and there was a person there named Andrew Knapp, and he was at the council meetings. I'm like, what is he doing? And I was like, did he just run? I'm like, okay. I'm like, what's he on? And then it was code enforcement, I think. And then he was appointed to the Ordinance Review Committee. I'm not sure which council member appointed you. But was it Katie?
Yeah.
So it was Katie. And then I came to the Board of Adjustment meeting, and after gave my introduction, you guys are, you know, Eric was telling me to dance and all that stuff. Councilmember McGee got a hold of me and said, hey, do you want to serve on the Ordinance Review Committee? And so right then it was Board of Adjustment, Ordinance Review Committee, and then I joined the Forward Pinellas Citizens Advisory Committee. The reason I did that was when I was reading everybody's bios who was sitting on council, what had they done? They were on the Firefighters Pension Board, they were on the Code Enforcement Board. You've served on the Code, forgive me, 15 years?
20.
Oh, 20 years. What I understood that to be was, and we've spoken about it previously, but that's where you get to sit up here and get comfortable. That's where you learn some of Robert's Rules of Procedure. That's where you get to know the clerk's office. That's where you get to know the city manager. That's where I got to know Tom Trask, because Tom presided over our Ordinance Review Committee meetings. I even made him laugh a couple of times, if you can believe it, but he did. But that's where I think the training comes in. My concern with 3 to 4 years, and the argument, while it's well taken, Mayor, to say that you need an additional year, well, that's comes across to me as an apprenticeship. And we have systems in place for apprenticeships. Plus, I remember my first meeting, I'm sure some of it's mutual from everybody up here. When you start making these decisions and you impact the people that you live around, you're impacting people's lives. Those decisions count. You don't get a pass just because, oh, I just got up here and I figured I'd learn on the job. That's not what an extra year would do. Additionally, say like Mayor Roniker, who served, what was it, 6 years as council member, 6 years as mayor, so that's 12 years. So if you do that, if you're lucky enough, fortunate enough to have that, then say you start when you're 40 years old, you're done when you're 56, and it's just like, wow, that was 16 years of my life that I spent doing this. That's a lot. And to what Mayor Bieberlin's point is, some of it can be real frustrating, but you also took an oath and you said, I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to do the job the best of my ability. So instead of increasing it, I would continue to encourage what I've always done, is say, serve on the boards. That's where I started learning all of this entire process. It's where I got to know everybody. I got to know my way around City Hall. The very first time I met Felicia was walking up to that Board of Adjustment meeting. I didn't know who she was. And she said, oh, are you Steve Graber? And I said, yeah, I'm here for the board. And she goes, I always read the agenda. And I was like, oh, now how hilarious that is now.
Yeah.
But that's where we met. That's where I met Katie that night. That's where I met you. And I walked up to Andrew and I asked him where he worked. He said Microluminant. I'd never heard of the place. Because I was pretty new here. And I was like, but that's not only the rules of procedure, not only the rules of governing, but the acclimation to the process itself. I think that's where all of that is borne out. If you show up to council and you haven't done any of those things, I think it'd be overwhelming, and I'd be concerned about the decisions that could potentially be made without that thorough understanding, or the amount of time that it would take somebody to catch up and get there, when, again, we have the opportunities in place to take that time to do it. That's it.
Well taken.
Thanks.
Councilmember Grimes, I already think I know your answer.
Well said, Councilmember Graver.
Thank you.
I really don't have anything more to add, except that I agree with Vice Mayor, I apologize,
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Graver, that I have served this city in a number of capacities for years, and that did allow me to, serve the city previously on council and again this time. And I just think that you learn so much, like he said, by participating in the city and being engaged in the city. And if you come to this position not having anything, glazed over you will be, and I don't think another year is necessary. I think a 3-year term is sufficient. I think you come prepared, and as Vice Mayor Graber said, if you come here and you're a little overwhelmed, you're going to make sure you're not overwhelmed the next time. You're going to make sure you prepare. You're going to ask the right questions. You're going to educate yourself. You're going to be ready. And, it's a little trial by fire sometimes, but I think, I have to agree. I think 3 years is a good term.
Okay. Any other comments?
Sure, just a few. I would echo the sentiments there of our other council members. I think 3 years is more than enough time to not only get acclimated, but to be an effective council member. I think if, as the vice mayor pointed out, if there are folks that are serving on a board or attending meetings on the regular, that for those people that aspire to be sitting up here and serving, it starts to change what may be described as drinking out of a fire hose to back to drinking out of a straw. Probably not a plastic one. Let's say it's a metal straw. They gotta bring it full circle. But, yeah, I mean, I think if you don't get through, and this is not you, Mayor, but a hypothetical person, if they can't get through a whole cycle of sitting up here and serving and feel comfortable in the decisions that they're making, and after that full first year, then really I feel like that's kind of a disservice to the job, to be up here and making decisions that do affect people's lives, and to need an extra year on top of 3 if you still don't have it all together and figured out. I think that's even a more of a disservice to the position. So I think 3 years is sufficient to get acclimated, be making good decisions, be proposing new things that many of us have done over our time in service to make the city function better. It's more than enough, and that's just one term. And you got a whole nother chance. And so 6 years is a lot to ask for somebody if they don't have aspirations to serve as mayor as well. And I think that would actually hamper our ability to get solid candidates to serve just for one term. You just say, now you're going to sign up for 4 years. We've had several people, for a variety of reasons, not be able to fulfill a 3-year term. So just in the last 5 years. So are we going to have more special elections or more people for life happening outside of the council chambers?
You're talking about Gabby and Jared.
Gabby, Jared, Eric as well. Granted, that was involuntary, right? He
Yeah, it
had
was
an
a car
injury,
accident.
but
What year was that?
things happen. That
Broke his
was
neck.
16.
I remember he broke his neck, then Janice passed away while she was serving.
Right, yeah, another one. So, I mean, life happens outside of this chamber, and now you're gonna throw a year into that term where something else could happen, forcing any of us either currently serving or those in the future to not be able to wind up having their full term. And then, are we the only one having to have a special election at some time else during the year? I think we'd be in our best interest to try to avoid that. So, I think, based on what was said so far, it's
Well,
leaning that way of not being in favor, but, we'll let the.
I don't want to
continue.
continue, I mean, really don't need to continue. We're not going to be doing this, so we can move ahead if it's okay. I mean, I'm good. Unless you really want to say something, we're not going to move ahead.
Drop my little 2 cents in the
We're
my
gonna go
silver
ahead.
dollar. Drop my silver dollar in
Free silver
in the
dollar.
bucket
Three.
there.
Three.
I've got a couple silver dollars. I've been up here. This is my second term. I think Vice Mayor and Councilmember Knapp are exactly correct. I also agree with, although slightly imprudently stated, with Mayor Beaverland's comments, as that can create a difficult working relationship among everyone up here and for city staff as well, when there's that discord. And I think, if you have an agenda, for example, and you come up here and you can't get it done in 3 years, you're not going to get it done in 4 years. There's something else that's an issue. And I think that the folks that get up here are extraordinarily competent for the most part and have that experience from boards or other organizations which they've been a part of, or perhaps their business experience or other organizations that well prepare them for being in this position. And there's certain things that nothing could have prepared me for that we've had to face up here. But I don't think that anyone in the public is out there clamoring to add additional years to terms of politicians. So when I put this in my head and think about, okay, well, I'm not comfortable doing this. If we put this on a referendum, or if we went out and asked, our constituents, what do you think about adding another year to the terms of the folks in office? I think they would say no, roundly say no. Not necessarily out of, a disrespect for the person holding the office, but I think it's important to have turnover. It's important. That's why we have term limits in Oldsmar. It's important to get those new ideas consistently coming in every 3 years so that we have, new and fresh ideas and people with motivation to get things done, and not this sort of stagnancy for, 8 years potentially of the same discussion. I know, that was, one of the reasons that I ran, is because I wanted to bring something new to the table. And I think a lot of folks run with that in mind. So I absolutely agree with Vice Mayor and with Councilmember Knapp, and also Councilmember Grimes, who agreed by consent.
Thank you very much. All right. Item 26, council comments. Councilmember Andrew Knapp, you have the floor.
Thank you. Mayor, just a couple of things. We had a first quarter noise abatement task force meeting a couple of weeks ago, right after our last council meeting. One of the big things, I think I had mentioned it in that meeting's council comments, we have the departure, one of the departure routes that comes basically leaving from south to the north at St. Pete Clearwater Airport, and they're currently planned waypoints that they hit along the way takes the flights oftentimes straight above Shore Drive. And we've had, some residents impacted by that. There was supposed to be an adjustment that took place back in March to move one of those waypoints essentially out over the water. It didn't happen due to some scheduling issues with the FAA, but that publication date is what they call it, because it gets into all this literature for the pilots, will become effective May 16th. So some of our residents in just a couple weeks or so time may start to see some improved benefits from these northbound departures out of St. Pete Clearwater. So that was probably the most important thing as it came from that meeting as it relates to Oldsmar. Next, I have tomorrow, the next Ford Pinellas meeting. There's very much a hot button issue that doesn't impact Oldsmar directly by any means. It's a lane repurposing initiative down in St. Pete. I've been getting inundated today with emails from both mostly supporters, but some that are opposed to that initiative. But it's just something that we're starting to see in all parts of the county. I don't know if there's really anything that will ever be faced here in Oldsmar with an initiative like that, but I guess you just never know as the needs for transportation change over time. But we are voting on that tomorrow. And then there was also going to be a presentation. This is something that will probably, not directly impact Oldsmar, but our folks tend to go over to other areas in the north part of the county. There is the next kind of phase of US 19 reconstruction that's being considered. As you all know, from basically, what is it right now, Countryside Mall area, way south, there's just a series of overpasses right and left. And it's had pretty significant impacts to how the land around that corridor has changed its best use over time. You used to have, well, there still are a fair amount of auto dealerships there, but what used to be other businesses and small strip malls have all been kind of gutted, torn down, same with some trailer parks, to where now you're seeing kind of this repurposing to a lot of larger apartment complexes, some new dealerships. But what they're considering doing as an alternative, this is by no means set in stone yet, is what they're calling a viaduct concept. So if you think the elevated highway at the Crosstown Expressway or the new Gateway Connector project, something to where it gets some of the traffic free flowing through in the northern part of US 19, but the ability to kind of activate spaces underneath, and it's not so detrimental to the folks at the ground level on those service roads and whatnot. So that's something that we're getting a presentation for tomorrow. It's not going to be anything we vote on just yet, but it is interesting. And then the other final thing as it relates to Ford Pinellas, we still have the reapportionment that's about to take place. They're not quite sure when they're going to reseat members on the board, so that'll leave me still sitting there through the end of this year, and then presumably Safety Harbor will take over at that point, because now Tarpon has their own seat or will about to have their own seat. So that's all I have as far as city stuff goes. Just want to wish all our mothers out there have a happy Mother's Day this weekend. I'll be able to celebrate with my mother for most of the weekend because my wife will be out of town for her cousin's graduation, but she'll be back on Sunday, so I can still show some appreciation for the mother of our children. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sandy Grimes.
I do not have anything this evening, so thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Vice Mayor Steve Graber.
I believe we can all agree I've spoken enough tonight, so
Councilmember Katie Cannon.
I'm gonna go rapid fire here. I wanted to congratulate our administrative services department and finance division. You guys just crush it. I mean, 32 years and still hanging in there for the late night meetings. It might start in parks. I feel you, but actually, it starts in administrative services. It starts in finance. I'm sorry,
It's in the
Chip.
books.
And on that note, I wanted to congratulate our entire city staff and all the department heads for the comp plan. I mean, this is a tremendous, just reading the ordinances was a tremendous undertaking that we did in-house and a monumental effort to bring this very nearly to the finish line, which will go to the state for 30 days, is my understanding. And it's incredible to finally undertake it, and I know everybody put a lot of work in, not only because we know our city best, but also to save us a heck of a lot of money. But primarily, our department heads know our city best. And I think that is amazing, that we have a document that will truly reflect us and our plan, and not just a sort of vanilla Pop-Tart plan that could fit any city, and you just, kind of change the name and you sell it to lots of different cities, because we could have opted for that. A lot of cities do, and we didn't do that because we don't do things the easy way, do we? No. We do it for 32 years, the incredibly difficult and amazing way. I wanted to thank Mike Boylan, our local hurricane hunter, for helping us film the Pledge to Evacuate video. I had not yet seen it until today. It is awesome. It's awesome, and Mike has a lot of cool facts and information about why we should all pledge to evacuate, because you cannot outrun water. My understanding is that it's available not only on this link, but also on oldsmarstrong.com. Is that correct? Yes, oldsmarstrong.com. So you can learn more about it there, but the actual pledge is on the website, and we should all pledge to evacuate. Couple more things. I wanted to encourage all of our Leadership Pinellas alumni to attend the annual meeting and dinner at the at Ruth Eckerd Hall on May 22nd. If you haven't bought your ticket, there are tickets left.
You going?
Yeah, it's fun. It's good meal, good fellowship, good leadership organization to be a part of. And when you buy your ticket, make sure you pay your annual dues and contribute to the Youth Leadership Pinellas organization. They just had an excellent graduation ceremony. It's so cool. You see kids like this who come in here winning contests in elementary school, and they go on to high school. They're part of these organizations. You just know they have a very, very bright future. And last thing, it's hard to believe, well, second to last thing, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at the work session at the end of May. We're talking budget already. Dollars and cents, people. Get on it. Read your books. Read this giant book. But it does have puppies in it, so, it's a lot more palatable. I love the puppies this year. And I think our citizens appreciate being able to see their own pets in it. I think that's a really cool little touch that we do every year by making it personable. It's hard to believe, school's almost out, y'all. So May 29th is a half day. After Memorial Day, kids go back for 1 day and a half. It is what it is. They got to get the days in. And then Thursday and Friday, kids are out of school. So be prepared to see more children at the park, more children on the sidewalks, more children in the streets, and just be alert and aware, because sometimes they're not. And, drive safe, act safe out there. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And that's all I got.
All right, thank you very much. I just have a couple things. The PSTA had their ribbon cutting for the new Clearwater Transportation Center. They did a land swap with the city of Clearwater. The current transportation center is falling apart, and they're gonna be building a new one, and they got federal funding for that. So that's exciting news. I'll keep you updated as that goes on. I attended the Hurricane Expo that Councilmember Gannon just brought up. It was packed, well-attended. Mike did a great job in his presentation where they launched the video, the Hurricane Expo video that we have on our website. And it was, like I said, well-attended. Thank you to all the vendors and city staff who put that on. Great job. This evening, thank you, Councilmember Grimes, for going to the art show across the street. I would invite everyone to go check it out. That art show is great. There's a lot of really unique artworks there. Very impressive. I want to thank the Oldsmar Fire Department, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, my HOA board members, Rhonda Dunkley, Nicole Mackin, Scott Roper. We had our block party last weekend. It was the biggest block party for East Lake Oaks we ever had. Thank you to all the restaurants who donated foods, Wild Wings, Whiskey Wings, Amici's. There's so many to name. We gave out over $2,500 in gift certificates to the families. The pool was packed with the kids. We had a larger tent this year, tons of food. We never ran out of food. It was a great event, and that was our 13th year in a row we had our block party, and it's really taken off. And again, thank you to the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department for joining us. Last thing, this morning I attended the Kiwanis Club meeting this morning at Eve's Restaurant. I went there to thank them for the donation to our park for the $20,000. It was really a really nice meeting, getting to know all the members of the Kiwanis. But again, I only got to speak for a minute, but I wanted to thank them again for that. And that's all I have, except for Happy Mother's Day to everyone else. Tom, you got anything?
No, sir, thank you.
I forgot just one thing.
Sure, go ahead.
This weekend, we learned of the untimely passing of a longtime staff member, Marie Daphne. I was very shocked and very saddened to hear that she had passed. Her family continues to impact and serve this city through John. And she was a really great lady. She's kind of a spitfire, and she worked really hard through a lot of development projects in this city. And say what you want, but she knew her stuff.
Thank you for bringing that up.
And she was just a really great lady. I forgot to bring it up earlier tonight before our invocation, but I was reminded of it while you were talking about the block party and the fun, and I just wanted to mention her name.
Thank you. Yeah, she was wonderful. She really was. Anything else? No. All right. Thank you all for coming out.
We have the agenda.
Oh, yes,
Agenda,
so
Mayor.
item 27, approved tentative agenda for the May 21st, 24 council meeting. Does anyone wish to pull or add anything to the agenda?
You need to add the Suncoast League rep and alternate
I was
rep.
gonna do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make the motion. That's your favorite motion.
I gave you your increase in the retainer, Tom. Come on. Take a break. I would like to amend the tentative agenda to add the tabled item number 22 related to the Suncoast League of Cities, as well as Mayor Siraki's suggested additional item related to.
No, I don't
Oh, you don't want to add it?
I don't want to add it.
Okay.
No, thank you, though.
Then just the tabled item number 22 pertaining to the Suncoast League of Cities item.
All right, I got a motion. How about a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion?
Okay, technically I added that to the tentative agenda. So now we should vote on adding it, and then I'll move to approve it.
But we need to vote on the
Go ahead.
amendment.
Yep.
Ask for a vote.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor, I move to approve the tentative agenda as amended.
Thank you. Second? I got a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes.